Greetings, guys. It's the award winning publisher and editor in chief of Swagger Magazine, Fancy. And since I made it back from Atlanta, I've been kind of reflecting on my trip. And so I thought I would hop on, share a few tips or things that I learned. I don't know if they're necessarily tips because a lot of people might be like, girl, I already knew that. But just in case it helps somebody, yeah. So I did several things wrong with my Atlanta trip. Like, initially, I mean, it was kind of, I'm not gonna say it was through together, but we kind of came up with the idea because we were trying to secure one interview there. And so we were like, okay, well, let's do these other interviews. And, so everything kind of came together within a matter of about 2 weeks. That was probably my first big mistake right there. Because of course, like I'm not gonna say I didn't do the proper planning, but I had not traveled in like over a year. So it kind of like just remembering the little things was a little difficult for me. And so with that being said, I would definitely advise you to like plan early if possible, if you're planning on traveling and doing interviews. And I say that too because I feel like had we started planning earlier, we probably could have had more guests to interview, or made more paid features to interview. So that would have helped a lot too, because a lot of the calls came out of pocket, because we didn't have as many as I would like. And then make certain that those interviews also cover the cost of your travel and your lodging. Lodging is number two. So I was looking for a hotel that was going to be close to the airport. And the hotel that I found, it was being advertised as being close to the airport. But when I got there, it was actually like 30, 40 minutes away, which was about $50 in lift fees. So if you could find some place that's close to the airport, I think that would be a great idea as well if you're traveling, because you don't have to worry about the cost of getting back and forth from places. And then where I was at, it was already kind of like it was an okay place and it was an okay hotel. But that was another thing too, because I was moving too fast. I realized that I was kind of like toggling, like look at this hotel, look at that hotel, trying to make comparisons, send one to my friend girl, see what she think about this or about that. And in the midst of all of that, I thought I was booking a suite, but I found out I did not book a suite. And I didn't find it out until like I was looking at my reservation the day of. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Maybe, it's just me. I did really book a suite because I thought I saw a suite on the website. But then when I got there, it was not a suite. And later on, when I was talking to the people in guest services, they told me they don't even have suites at their hotel. So I'm like, okay, so I didn't even I wasn't even looking at the right hotel. When I booked, I thought I was booking one thing and I ended up booking something else. Now, keep in mind, y'all, I am not a frequent traveler. So, a lot of these things, again, they may be like common sense to y'all, but for me, someone who doesn't travel as often, like, I'm not as experienced. I will make mistakes. I realize I probably shouldn't ever try to be a travel agent because I would have somebody and so probably because like the mistakes I made, they were rookie mistakes, but just my thing. But then so we talked about the planning ahead. We talked about choosing lodging that's close by the airport. Um and then this wasn't something that, well, I guess in some ways I could say that this was a mistake on my behalf as well, because I had some items shipped to my house. I had another one of these microphones and I had some dresses shipped to my house, right? Planning for my trip. And I thought, okay, I ordered them in advance. I didn't order them too in advance, so I had to pay like rush shipping or whatever. They rush shipped it, got it to my house on time. But I came home from work on Thursday and nothing was there. Like my shit was gone, basically. It's the only way I know how to put it. I was so hurt. I was crying. I was so upset. It was a horrible experience. That part of the trip. I mean, I had not even left out, but just knowing that somebody would take your stuff, after you worked so hard for it, and they did absolutely nothing but follow the trucks to the delivery or walk past the apartment and saw stuff sitting on the at my door and just picked it up. I even tried asking the people in the building if they had saw anything. I don't even know my neighbors like that, but I was knocking on people's door trying to see, like, have you saw my belongings? And most people didn't open the door for one. And then a lot of people in my building got dogs, so I was kind of nervous about that. Like, y'all know I do not do dogs. If you know anything about me, you know I do not do any animals at all. So um that was like a big ordeal. One woman did answer the door and she told me she don't get anything delivered over here. And I was like, wow. Cause I thought, people be like, oh, you live in Largo. That's um I'm not gonna say a wealthy zip code, but it is a pretty uppity area. So to have my belongings just stole like that, I was very disappointed, very hurt. Um Behind it. And all I could imagine was like pistol whipping somebody if I had had a pistol, but I don't. But it definitely came to mind, or just kicking somebody's teeth down their throat, because I was upset, y'all. I was hurt. Like, I'm not the type of person to steal from anybody. So for somebody to steal from me, that was a um it was a experience. I don't know. You don't expect that sort of thing to happen to you in the past. And when I've ordered packages, I've came home and found them. But this time, that just wasn't the case. Um, so yeah. So with that being said, I also learned like I might need to get a PO box, or I'll start getting my packages shipped somewhere else, um whether that be someplace closer to me, or like I have relatives here, so I can possibly get it shipped to their places. But it just made me very nervous about just even getting things shipped all together because of what happened. And then I actually had to order everything again, which is how I ended up with this mic now. And I had everything shipped to the hotel, then get to the hotel, and my dresses had not arrived. Everything was supposed to arrive on Saturday. Everything had not arrived though. So the dresses came shortly after I made it to the hotel. So I'm like, okay, cool. Microphone, I'm looking at it on Amazon, and it's like, oh, it'll be delivered today, blah, blah, blah. Didn't get delivered. I saw it like delivered to one of the warehouses or something. And then I noticed that it just stopped moving, right? Sunday, I'm like, okay, I know they're gonna deliver it on Sunday. I'm gonna get it in time. Um, Nothing happened. Nothing moved again for the tracking on Sunday. So I was like, dang, um, that was a that was a disappointment. But the good part about that was that I won't say it was the good part, but the guest that I was supposed to have on Sunday actually had an emergency, and so I wasn't I didn't have to do that interview, so it didn't matter that I didn't have the mic. Monday, I'm like, Lord, am I gonna get this microphone before I leave Atlanta at this point? And at first it was like nothing was really moving. I was checking the updates on Amazon, and um finally I began to see some progress being made. But I was trying to understand, it seemed like they were taking the microphone further from me and then gonna have to bring it to me. And I was just like, if I had a car, I would just be trying to go to the Amazon warehouse or something. But I didn't have a car, and for where I was at, I think wherever I went was gonna be pretty costly. So So from there, I just so happened to be outside of the hotel, and when the Amazon truck pulled in, so I ended up getting a microphone. So I was like, okay, thank you God for that. But not long after that, because I was like, this was just as I was preparing the room for the interviews, right? Because I was like, I gotta hook this room up. So I had to like move a table, ask them for another chair. I will say, while the hotel was not what I was expecting exactly, but it was the staff were so friendly and accommodating. Whatever I asked them for, they tried to get for me. I had told them I thought I didn't have a microwave in my room, but I did end up having a microwave in my room. I had to just look right over it. They were ready to get it. I asked them for another rolling chair, which you all can see in the broadcast that we did the other day. And they were able to locate one for me for that. So I had to try to like rearrange the room. I did okay with it. And my guess, I will shout out to Dr. J Ja, because she was so understanding of the situation. Like a lot of people would have been like, oh, wait a minute, like you ain't do so and so, or you could have booked the podcast studio, but I thought, I was booking a suite so I would be able to record in the suite and not have someone in the space that I was actually sleeping in, but it did not work out that way. But again, that's where that proper planning comes into place. So, but she was very accommodating and we recorded and it was a great interview. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, we have boosted it, so you should see it somewhere along your timeline at some point. And we'll also be adding it to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's also available on our YouTube and our LinkedIn, which, if you're watching from any of those channels now, you're able to look at it. It should be one of the last posts that you've probably seen on the page before this one. And yeah, so those were just some things. I would have to say overall, it's the proper planning. So I said if I go somewhere else again, I want to at least like try to do it plan for a month out. I don't want to be saying I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. I'll see y'all in a month, wherever my next location is. If you happen to know of some places, excuse me, or not if you happen to know some places, but like if you have a women's organization with business women and you all would like for me to come to you all, let me know. If you're willing, if your people are willing to buy the package, then I would love to head out to wherever you're at. I realized one good thing about the trip was, oh my God, y'all, I got some of the best sleep. Like I hadn't been sleeping because I found out I have seasonal allergies, and it has just been so hard for me to rest with all the coughing and stuff. So being there in that hotel room, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just being away from home. I don't know if it was the bed or if it was the pillows, like the way I was sitting up on the pillows. Whatever the case was, I got some of the best sleep in my life. Like I was, thank you, Jesus. Like it was just so good. And I hadn't slept that way in a long time because I'm one of them type of people that when I'm sleeping, I sleep light. So if I got something to do in my head, I'm gonna be thinking about like my brain never stops. That's part of my problem. My brain never shuts off. So in my mind, I'm thinking about all the other stuff that I have to get done. And that's just not real rest, to me. And I tell my therapist that all the time. I don't feel like I'm rested because my brain is still activated at all times. So, for once, I actually got some sleep. I'm happy about that. And I got a good interview out of it. That was good. I got to connect with another Black businesswoman. I'm always excited about that. Like one that I feel like is a genuine person. Those are the type of people I like to have around me. And to connect with other people like that, when you find those type of people, to me I almost feel like it's kind of rare because in business, we're polite to each other all the time, but it's like if I were to catch you on a non-business tip, would you still be as polite or as kind, or is this just something you're putting on for me? And I don't know if anybody else ever feels like that, but that's just kind of how I feel because sometimes when you meet a person they'll be one way. Then when you see their online persona, it's like, that's not the same person I met, you know? That's just something that I've noticed. So I'm glad that it was a good experience, but I would still like to figure out whoever stole all my stuff though. I ain't gonna lie about to you about that. My students was like, "Oh, Miss Felder, you gotta get a what they say, like a ring cam or something, you know, like one of the little cameras to put at your door." And I have been considering it, but I just hadn't gotten one because I didn't really think I'd be able to put it together myself, but I realized I'm probably gonna have to get like my brother or my nephew or somebody to do it for me. Um, just as a woman, I think that's important to have anyway. Like you want to know who you're going to the door for. And though I still feel like if they wanted to have stolen my stuff, they could put on a one of them, what you call it? Those masks that people wear, like, you know, to disguise themselves. They can still easily do that and go through and steal stuff. But my neighbor did tell me like she had heard that people were following the trucks and that's how they were stealing people's belongings because they just follow them to and wherever they stop, they're just picking up stuff. And I was like, man, there's really people out here in this world with that much time, you know, to follow a truck. Like you could be following a job or something, or following job updates, or following a company to see when they're going to update you about a job or when they're about to be saying this new position is opening, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to um something like that. You know, I just be appalled at people. But it's 2025, so I guess I shouldn't still be that appalled anymore, you know. But yeah, so those are some things that I learned from my Atlanta trip. Just basically like how to make things easier for myself. And I will say I'm very proud of myself for making it through the Hartsfield Atlanta airport. Um both times. I'm not gonna lie. The first time when I arrived, I followed I followed this woman and her little boy, just because I knew they were on the flight with me. And so I just tried to stay in the vicinity of them so I could find the baggage claim because I didn't know how to get there. But once I on my way back, I had talked to this older black man who gave me the best instructions, and I was able to navigate myself through the airport. And then I flew into DC. That airport is pretty small, but also if you know me, you know that I used to like really struggle with the whole process of going through the airport, trying to get the TSA, like trying to understand what each step of the um trip is supposed to look like for the airport itself. Cause I hadn't flown a lot until recent years, but fortunately, I had a good, I had a good experience this time because I was so worried. Like for the way for the trip home, I tried to be at the airport like before 4 o'clock because I was so concerned about um just being able to navigate through the different areas and that little train thing be confusing me. But I actually was the first person at my gate. So I was like, look at me. I'm here early. So I went to sleep, really. And I'm sorry, I said I'm sleeping now. I got up and got an oil change today, and it took forever since like and then since I left there, why my check engine light then came on. So now I gotta go back tomorrow because I'm like, I can't go today. I got another appointment to go to. But I just wanted to hop on, share that with you guys. We are offering the PR package for the DC area. If you are in the DC DMV area, you can reach out to us. And or you could just order the package. Like you could go right to the swaggerpr.com website and purchase the package there. I'm trying to get my mouse to work so I can grab the link for you. But it is called the District Darling package. Kind of like a play on, you know, District of Columbia and alliteration, if you know what alliteration is. And then we just wanted to make it something that was tailored for you all. The way we had the Peachy Press package for Atlanta, playing on the Atlanta and the peach and all of that. So with this one, I've been trying to incorporate the cherry blossoms because I have never been to the cherry blossom festival. I've only heard a lot about it, but I know that a lot of people are familiar with it. So I wanted to make certain that you all, when you look at the package, you're like, okay, I see where she's going with that. Oh, okay. I'm trying to put the package in the comments, but it wasn't going. 1 second. Oh, this is it here. All right. So if you're interested in the District Darling package, it is basically the same as the Peachy Press package, only a different location. Excuse me. Only a different location. So you can purchase it right from the website, or you can reach out to us at advertise@swagger.net. You can always reach out to us via our DMs. And then if you're a Square customer that we've had in the past, you can even go to our Square website and purchase it directly from there. So should you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out. If you know of anyone in the DC area, let them know that this package is available. The only difference with this one is you have to find your own location, or if you have a location, that's even better, as opposed to me finding a location for you. Um, so yeah, that's everything that I wanted to share about what my Atlanta trip taught me. And I'm just looking forward to the next destination, I guess. And you all can play a big part in that if you request us in your city. Again, like I said, it has to be a group. It can't just be like one person, because it's just not feasible. But if you can get together a few other people to purchase the packages, you all purchase and we can go from there. So peace and blessings, and y'all have a great day.